All right, so today I'm talking to left-handed shooters. I'm talking to new left-handed shooters. Yep, I'm a left-handed shooter, so I think I'm pretty qualified to be discussing this. And the reason why this is so important to me, right, is because I get a lot of left-handed students that really have problems with their dexterity when it comes to manipulating the gun. Okay, this gun is empty. I'm going to go ahead and show you. And so what I mean by that, right, is that most guns are made for right-handed shooters, meaning you have the slide lock, slide release on the left-handed side, you have the mag release on the left-handed side, and while it may seem to make sense, it really doesn't for left-handed shooters because with right-handed shooters, right, it's the opposite. It works for them best. And the reason why is because they can just come right around and reach for that mag release if they have to do a mag change, and they stay up into their grip. They do the mag change and get on with their life, right? With us, we have to do things a little bit different, okay? And this is the way I do it, okay? So what I do is when I'm shooting, right, and I got to go ahead and make a mag change, right, I have to go ahead and release my grip right here, bring that finger back to, get a magazine here, right? Bring that finger back to my mag release while still hanging onto the pistol grip, drop it, right? As I'm reaching for another magazine from my pouch, I got to come up, re-grip that gun, and get back up into presentation. Okay. Now it's the same thing when I go into slide lock. When you're on the range, you want to get in the habit of not going into slide lock, because if you go into slide lock, that means you're dry. You have no more bullets. You have no more bullets in the magazine. You have nothing in the chamber. And so the slide lock goes back, right? And that's what you wind up with, right? So you immediately have to go ahead and change that magazine. And you can do this one of two ways. When you send that slide back home, right, is you can either go ahead and take this slide release and use this finger, which again, if you're left-handed, you got to go ahead and you got to release your grip, come back in, let that go again, and then come back up and into your presentation and get back up into your grip, because your grip's got to be tight. You got to keep that thumb and your forefinger up underneath that tang when you grip. Anyway, I digress. Okay, as opposed to what I do. This is what I do. Okay, but this is how I solve it. I don't do this. I don't come back. I never go into slide lock like this or in slide release with this finger here, right? If I go up into slide lock and I go to send that home, magazine in, I'll go ahead, slingshot it back in, and send that slide home, and I'm back in business again. I could do it just as fast as a right-handed person does with that slide release. Now, what you want to do is just keep on practicing that, because like I said, dexterity is a problem with most of the left-handed shooters that I work with, right? Because they still have to, release that, release that grip, and they're afraid to release that grip for fear of whatever, right? And it could be a safety issue. So, what I always tell them, hey, take practice gun, unload your gun, and just practice that at home. Make sure the gun is unloaded, make sure it's clear, right? And you just keep on practicing that. And just take your magazine, right? Here, here, drop, back in. Here, release your grip, drop, back in. Okay. Same thing with slide release, right? Send that back home, send that back in your presentation right there. I don't, as a left-handed shooter, I really don't even, when I go dry, I don't even bother with this. I don't. I just slingshot it back home, and I got a round in, chambered, and I'm ready to go. Now, if you looked at some of my videos, right, I draw with my left hand. Mag pouches, mags are on my right hip, right? When I go make my changes, I'm right eye dominant, which means I'm left-handed shooter, right eye dominant, which means I feel like I'm like this, but it takes a minute to get used to, right? When you shoot like that. Some instructors will say, learn how to shoot with your right hand, right? If you've gone through any of my videos, now I know I don't have that many up yet, right? Or maybe you haven't seen it, right? I come from a coach's perspective, right? Because I was a coach and I coached a lot of sports. Coached a lot of NFL players, so I'm a coach. First, what I mean by that, right, is if you're left-handed, you perfect that left-handed manipulation with that gun, right? Don't try and change it. Once you perfect that left-handed manipulation with the gun, with the mag release, the mag slide, shooting, getting on target, so on and so forth, then start working with your right hand, right? And getting that right hand dexterity down, right? I can shoot with both my right hand and my left hand. I'm more proficient with my right hand, right? But stay with that, right? The other thing that I do is that it's a little bit different is with my rifle, I shoot what I call conventional, right? I shoot with my right hand. So, right, I got that buttstock right here on my, right here on the right collar, and I'm down. I'm right. It's the way everybody else shoots, the way right-handers shoot, right? So I'm a little bit quirky that way when it comes to shooting. So when I teach people how to shoot, right, it's coming from my perspective and what's easiest for me to make them a better shooter coming from a left-handed world, if that makes sense. All right. If you guys have any questions, I'd appreciate it, right? Please hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video if you got anything out of it. All right. I'm out.